I would recommend too, if you know other artists who have exhibited at a place where you're checking out, get with those artists and ask them how their experience was.
Yes, and I think most artists would be happy to to share their experience with it, unless it's their little cash
Hmm.
cow and they don't want to they
Yeah,
don't want to
right.
share it.
Welcome to Creative Type Podcast. This is episode 7, where we're going to be talking about how to get your art out there. I'm Lori Rivera,
And I'm Jamie Haney.
and we're your hosts for Creative Type Podcast.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome. Well, Jamie and I thought we'd talk today about just some different ways we've gotten our art out there, just like, restaurants, coffee shops, galleries, you name it. The possibilities are endless. Sometimes you just
Oh,
have to think outside of the box.
that's right. I think it's going to be a really good show today
I think
because
so too.
I think we both have a lot of good stuff. Now, we haven't compared notes, so we might have a lot of
Yeah.
run over,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's okay. That's okay. We'll figure it out. All right. Why don't you start with the first one, Lori?
Okay.
Do we want to start off with where was your first exhibit?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, you go
So,
first.
so the very first time I ever showed my work was through my workplace. I was working for Peace Zone Recovery Center at the time. I was hired to get it up and running, and we had a an art show in during Recovery Month in September, and that was the first show I was ever in. And just to give you a little background, Peace Zone helps individuals with mental health issues, so depression, anxiety. So it's a
Right.
peer
Yeah.
center. So that was the first place I ever showed my work. It was at the Arts Council of Southwestern Indiana. We had the show there.
Oh, that's nice. So you had not put your art out on like a blog or anything out like that before then?
Well, well, a blog, yes, a
Okay, so
blog.
I
But
would
the
count that as
first,
your first time.
yeah,
But like,
true.
yeah, because I got to thinking, my first show was a place called Art in the Park. And I think it went away, and I believe they've just started it back up again. But had a booth, I paid for a booth, and that was the first time I was out in public locally with my art. Now, that's
Yeah,
probably what you mean. You were out locally in
yeah,
public. Yeah. But
in
before
public, yeah,
then, in 2009, I started my art blog. So
mm,
that's really where I was showing my art publicly if you saw me on the blog. So that's where mine would have
yeah.
been. And then I think in 2012 is when I had my first public art show with a booth that I paid to be there. And so, yeah, that's kind
Yeah.
of the same thing then. So when did you start your blog? When was that?
You and I started painting the same year. Didn't you start in 2009?
Yeah, that's about when I did.
That's
Yeah.
when I started painting.
Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
is
fun.
funny. So I probably started my blog that year too. And like I said in a previous podcast, my blog back then was basically just a bunch of images. I didn't
Oh,
write a
yeah.
whole lot. It was just kind of as a record for me of what I had done.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's cool too. Well, you know me, I am never at a loss for words.
Oh no,
So
I know.
so way back then I had a whole shit ton of things to say.
Yeah, yeah,
So, well, okay, so that'll start off with the very first type of venue that you can get your art out there, and that's like art shows. And that's
right,
what yours was an art show, right? A lot of
right. It
times.
was a nonprofit art show, yes.
Okay, well, I was trying to make a
Like,
profit with mine.
well, yeah.
I did make some money. I did sell some stuff. My my pricing model was not very good back then. But that's okay. I got some first collectors that way. And I still have some very good collectors from that very first show. They
That's
signed up.
awesome.
Luckily, I had probably from the blogs that I watched or listened to, or not, you know what I'm trying to say, read. It seemed like you're there with them. You know so much. Blogs are so good about going so in depth. It's
Oh
not like
yeah.
social media now. It's just kind of surface. It's so
Social media is
surface.
just a blip,
It
you
is.
know?
And it's very what I say is shallow surface. You really don't get to know someone very, very well. But
Yeah.
blogs were kind of different. People really shared a lot with them, and I did too. I continue to. So I still prefer blogs, but That's
Mhm.
just personal preference of mine. So,
Right.
what are some other local places to exhibit? Now, when we say exhibit, what do you mean? I mean, like your art is out there and it can or cannot be for sale. It's there for anyone to look at and to probably critique and have their opinion about it.
Right. Just a public place to show your work.
Right, right. All
Well,
right.
let's start off with libraries.
Okay, I've got that one too.
Okay.
Yeah, libraries are a great place. And I exhibit at my local library just about once a year, if not twice, if he'll let me come in and do it. You contact the like marketing manager there. Luckily, I'm friends with that guy, Stan. He's such a nice guy. He always makes sure that I get a month. And I've already had my month. It was January. I think we talked about that a couple episodes back. So have you exhibited in libraries?
Yeah, actually, I have. I think just one time. I think I did. Yeah, it was the Newburgh Library. It's
Oh, didn't
the
you do?
little
Yeah, didn't
town
you
next to
do?
us.
You did another one too, though, didn't you? Out
Did
on
I?
First Avenue? Didn't you
Let
go out
me
on First
think.
Avenue?
No, I don't think
Or
so.
wait, Washington Square Mall, was it? Was that
No,
Vicky? Oh, well, it
yeah, I don't
doesn't
think so. I
matter.
think it was just the Newburgh Library. I think
Yeah,
that's the only
okay.
one I've done.
Uh-huh.
And yeah.
So how did yours work? Like mine stayed up for a month. I took my art
Mhm.
there. They have a really nice exhibit hall that even has art hanging, um, not wires, but they have permanent places for art and they have really nice lighting. The light
Oh
shines
yeah.
down on your piece of art. So it is he purposefully made that so you could hang art and it would show it off. So, how was your experience with the Newburgh Library?
It was great. Yeah. They have good lighting there too. And they
Okay.
also have a permanent display. They have the little rods, the rods that come down
Yes.
and with the little clips. I think there were
Yes.
clips on there. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think I took about, oh, I didn't fill it up as much as I could have probably. I think I kept it, to about, oh, I don't know, maybe 8 paintings, but they were larger paintings.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, let's talk about one of the bad things about that. I did a different library, where it was in a case. You remember that?
Yes.
I won't name where it was at, and you have no control over that, right? And it was not
Right.
the person's fault who contacted me, and she was generous at allowing me to exhibit my work there. But when I went to pick up my work, it was there for like 3 months. I think that was a 3 month rotation there.
Mhm.
My Some of my paintings had fallen down, and some of my paintings were in frames, and so it messed up like three of my frames, two or three, and they are not usable now. So that's
Oh,
something to
yeah.
consider. If your work is out there, you do not have control of what
Right.
happens to it. She didn't know how it fell, and you would think in a case just falling like 2 feet or so wouldn't do anything, but it sure did. It junked up my
Oh,
frames,
yeah.
and now I can't use them. So
Yeah.
that's something to consider. All right.
Yeah.
So
Anytime it's in a public place like that, yeah, anything can happen.
right,
You
right.
always have that risk.
Yep. Okay. So we did libraries and we did the art shows. What else have you got on your list for local places to exhibit?
The next one on my list is gift shops.
Gift shops. Yeah, I've got retail shops on mine, but yeah, the same thing. All right. So you have more experience with that. You have done that with your art business. So give it a little explanation of what your gift shop experience has been.
Yeah. I just started uh, putting some items in gift shops, I guess last year. And it's been a good experience. I think, um, yeah, one thing you have to think about with gift shops, it's not a gallery. So
Right.
you probably can't put like $1,000 piece in a gift shop.
Right.
So I tend to put not, like kind of more economical pieces. I don't know if
Right.
that's the word I want to use, but you know what I'm saying.
And when you go to a place like a gift shop, you have to decide, are you going to accept commission? This is
Right.
commission, or is it going to be wholesale?
Yeah. And I've been doing commission so
Right.
far.
Right. And from what I've been listening to, another podcast that I really, really like is Marie Brophy's podcast. And I believe that is Art, Money, Success podcast. And she really recommends not doing the commission, which
Mhm.
for her reasons are fantastic. I don't know if you ever did go back and listen to that one or not, Lori, when I shared that with you. But
I
she
did.
really encourages people to do wholesale. And I totally see that. But I have a feeling
Mhm.
that you probably would limit yourselves because some people just aren't going to do it. But when you do the commission route, and what we mean is they get a commission. You take your artwork into the space, they display it, hopefully, right? In her case, she had gone into this place that was supposed to have, they had sent what, $5,000 worth of artwork
Oh yeah.
over there. And she showed up unannounced and it was all sitting. She thought it was great. Oh, they've sold all the artwork. Found out that it was sitting in boxes still, had not even been unpacked. So not only did she not make any sales, but she lost sales because that art could have been selling somewhere else. This person did not even take it upon themselves to put the artwork out, and you don't have any control over that. So, but if you do
Mhm.
wholesale, then you have, for a lower cost, usually this would be good for prints, reproductions, that sort of thing. Then you've sold that work. And so they can sell it for however they want to and however much they want to. And, you're not losing out on anything.
Right.
So, have you thought about moving to a wholesale
I have thought about it.
type?
I haven't thought about it in depth, but it's crossed my mind. Yes.
Yeah, because if you go into these retails, it seems like everyone takes advantage of artists, doesn't it? If you go into any resale place and they go to these big shows that are in Chicago and Atlanta, and they go to these buyer sales, right? They order the stock for their shop. They don't say, "Okay, I'll take your order. I'll order $10,000 worth of stuff, and if it sells, I'll give you a commission on it. But if not, then I'll just send it back to you." That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have to purchase the stuff that they're going to sell, but they don't want to do that for artists. I think it's because somewhere along the line it has gotten known that I think we come off as a desperate group sometimes, and they I think some retailers take advantage of that. Okay, so can you think of any other pros or cons for having a retail?
Not really. I think it's a great way to get your work out there, get some eyes on your work. Uh,
Local eyes. I
one,
think it's a good way to
yes,
get local people
yeah.
to see your work.
And something I don't have in gift shops right now are cards, greeting
Yeah.
cards. I think that would be a great one to put in gift shops.
Yeah,
Like who doesn't go to a gift shop to buy gifts for other people? They need a card to go with the gift, right?
right. And I
So,
think we've said this before, my show at the Christmas at the Cabin. I know I keep mentioning that, but that is my top show of the year
yeah,
is Christmas at the Cabin. Most of my sales are from note cards. And
I
you wouldn't think
know.
because you don't think people mail anything anymore, but they do. I mean,
Yeah.
my little pie chart tells me so that
Yeah.
I've sold, note cards. Like 40% of my sales were note cards. It was kind of
That's
crazy.
amazing.
Yeah, it really was
And
amazing.
you
So,
put your website address on the back, right? So
oh
that's like a
yeah.
little
Are you kidding?
free, yeah, like a little
Yes.
advertisement for your
Little
business back there.
advertising. That is
And
exactly
then
right.
there's
I always
nothing
have
wrong
that.
with that. I do that too.
That's right.
It's
If they don't
like,
want it on there, that's too bad. It's going on there.
yeah, I mean, you buy a Hallmark card, their name's going to be on the back,
Right.
you know?
Yep. That's exactly right.
So it's no
All right.
different.
So, similar to retail shops would be, well, I guess similar and different, or like bookstores. We
Mhm.
have both exhibited in a locally owned bookstore. Now, you're not going to get in like Barnes and Noble or anything like that, I don't believe.
Barnes and Noble used to have
Did they?
artists in
Really?
there here. Yeah. They don't have
Oh,
it anymore though. They had a little shelf upstairs where you could put art.
okay. Well, that's limited. I'd like to see it down there by the coffee area
Oh yeah.
where people go in there and just hang out because, that's another thing you need to consider is where is your art going to be put?
Right.
Is it going to even be seen? Is it worth the trouble of you leaving your inventory that you could possibly sell somewhere else in some, dark, dank corner that no one is ever going to see? I think that's definitely something to
Right.
consider.
I think
Um,
so too.
yeah, and the bookstore that we both did was we'll give a little shout out to our local people. Blue Stocking Social, isn't that the correct name of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and super nice people, wonderful to work with the artists. They even shared photos of our artwork on their Instagram. Another place we both exhibit now, all three of us, Vicky included, is Frame Shop, Inman's. Inman's
Yeah.
Picture Framing. Isn't that
Yeah.
the name? And Gallery.
Uh-huh. Right.
Inman's. Yeah. Super nice people.
Oh yeah.
Jessica and Mike Inman. I've just
Wonderful
recently,
people.
just this year, put my artwork in, and they've been so nice to me. And I know that this has been like a
Yeah.
little cash cow for you, Laura. You sell a lot of artwork at Inman's, don't you?
I probably sell more there than anywhere else.
Yeah, that's great that
Yeah.
you have found your type of people. And you figure people are coming there to get their artwork. Their main thing is framing. So that's how
Hmm.
they earn the majority of their income. But it's so nice of them to offer wall space to
Oh
us
yeah.
artists to have a chance to sell. And then if you can think of any of these places, I don't even know if they have them anymore. Do you remember they used to have internet cafes? I was just
Oh
thinking
my
of like
gosh. Yes.
hangout places, like hangout types of places that people would go. And I guess that kind of fits in with coffee shops. But,
Right.
like we've both sold artwork and exhibited at the coffee shop downtown there. What is that called? Penny
Penny
Lane.
Lane.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
Honeymoon Coffee. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
these are all that we keep naming these places off that are local to us because we want to give them a shout out. But, you
Right.
approach your local places. And what I have found is if it's a locally owned person that owns that shop, I think you'll have better results. Don't expect to go into Applebee's and get your stuff in there.
Right.
That's not going to happen
I agree.
at all. But then there are some caveats, and I'll give you a little example. One time, I talk about popping in to see your work, like Maria Brophy talked about. There was a place, and I guess I can say it because they're not in business anymore. It was called Toast, and they put it in this golf club restaurant that was on the west side of Evansville, and they let a bunch of artists bring their stuff in, and it was actually a nice exhibiting place. The only problem was it was up high, really high. So if you wanted to have any kind of an impact, you had to have really large pieces. And I had some bigger pieces up there. And I went in with my aunt one time. She wanted to meet me for lunch, and we went to there. And I said, "Why don't we go see my artwork?" So we go there. And I had told her a little bit on the lowdown, "Hey, why don't you? I just want to see how they handle if you're interested in a piece, how do they handle that?" And she goes, "Okay." So we're eating and the waitress comes up and she said, "Hey, I'm interested in that piece up there." And it was mine, of course, and we're just playing it.
Yeah.
This was all pretend. And she said, how do I buy that piece?" The waitress had no clue. She had no incentive to sell it and really did not help us at all. So that's something to consider. Basically, after that little fiasco, I had all my art removed from there and had a hard time doing that because nobody wants to take the time or at this place to allow me to come in, get a ladder because it was really high up and take my artwork down. It took people's time away. The waitresses are trying to earn money, waiters, waitresses. They're trying to earn money. They don't have time to sell your art. So I think I learned a lesson there. You need to, I wrote some things down. So you need to uh, consider where you're putting your artwork and definitely do a pop in check on your artwork. And another thing that goes back to the waitresses and waiters had no incentive to selling them. Maybe if the place doesn't take a commission, then you offer that commission to any waiter or waitresses that sell your art if you're in a restaurant style place.
That's a great idea, Jamie.
Because, I mean, why wouldn't they want to have a little extra money in their pocket just for mentioning to the people, "Oh, hey, that's my favorite painting. Did you notice all the artwork in the restaurant? It's all by local artists and it's all for sale." Now, what'd that take? Not even 10
Right.
seconds. So then it gets people's attention to it. The artwork was so high up, you couldn't see any title cards. And if you saw the cards, you couldn't read them anyway because it was so far away. So everyone probably thought that that was just the owner's personal collection. They didn't even know it was for sale. So there was
Hmm.
no business cards to be handed out. And I had left business cards, but nobody offered them to my aunt. So that's definitely something to consider.
And
Not
I would recommend too, if you know other artists who have exhibited at a place where you're checking out, get with those artists and ask them how their experience was.
Yes, and I think most artists would be happy to share their experience with it, unless it's their little cash
Hmm.
cow and they don't want to they
Yeah,
don't want to
right.
share it. There might be one or two of those around. You never know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so and this also a bar, but bars are another place, and we both go or have our work in at Jennings Station. Jennings, no,
Hmm.
Jennings Public House is what it's called, isn't it?
Jennings Street Public House. Yeah, in Newburgh.
Yeah. Yes. And it's sometimes a comedy club, and sometimes, I think they do a lot of stuff there, but they are another family owned or locally owned. I wouldn't say family owned, but husband and wife, right? And
Yeah,
uh, are we losing my connection?
I think
Sorry.
so, a little bit. Right.
So, okay, so
Uh,
another place that we haven't talked about yet is local craft shows. Now, I would
mhm.
definitely recommend some higher end ones, and I've done craft shows before when I was first starting out. I will say it's a different crowd. They are not necessarily looking to buy fine art, but it is a place to start, and it's a good place to get your feet wet to figure out how these shows work, connecting with other people. And you never know, you could make sales. I have made sales before. I had someone offer me a job when I was at a craft show one
Oh,
time
really?
because he was so impressed with the way that I presented myself. I would like call people out who were walking by me and try to get them to come into my booth and tell them about my art.
Well,
He
you're
offered
so
me a
personable.
well,
You really
yeah, I don't know.
are,
I don't know
you
any
know?
strangers, do I? But
No.
I was just that's just my nature to do that. So
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed at all to do that. I'm not shy about it. And he was so impressed he wanted me to come work for his insurance company. I said, "No, thanks." But it was nice of him to offer.
Yeah, that was.
Have you ever gone to a craft show? I mean, exhibited and, tried to sell?
Yeah, I have Patchwork Central. It's a
Okay.
nonprofit. They have the Arts
Uh-huh.
and Smarts program for the kids down
Hmm.
there, and yeah, have you heard of that one?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm not
The
sure. I don't know if they
patchwork.
do it anymore. I'm not sure.
I don't
But
know.
it's usually it's was in November every year. So I've done that
Mhm.
one.
I have never done that one.
I liked it
I
because it
kind
was
of
indoor.
Yeah, right. I did a lot of outdoor. Oh God, yeah, that's a whole nother
I
can of
dread
worms right there.
outdoor shows.
Yes. The last time that I did a craft show, I had a couple of really bad experiences. One was it just pissed and poured. It rained cats and dogs. And I even had to put up all four of my walls. And I didn't actually have real walls at this time, it was rolls of plastic. So it was not good. The wind picked up. It was in Henderson, Kentucky, at Audubon. Okay, so I'm going to mention another one here that I don't know if it's on your list or not. You may have forgotten about this, and maybe for good reason. I can't remember actually how it ended. So staging with sellers or contractors, like real estate agents.
Oh, yeah,
Remember,
right.
you had a piece
Yes,
in. So tell everyone how that went.
I did. A realtor wanting to know if they could put one of my pieces, it was a larger abstract, in this like $1 million home.
Yeah.
And of
Was
course
it
I
for
was
the home
like,
show, like the home show or
it was
something?
just I think it was just a house for sale.
Okay, so just for
And
staging. Yeah.
yeah, it was for staging and nothing came out of it, but it was a
It
nice
was a good
opportunity. And you never
experience.
know, the
Yeah.
right person just didn't come along,
Right. And
the right
luckily, your art didn't get injured, right? There was no
no,
damage. Okay.
no, it
That's
didn't.
good. Yeah. Was that the intention of the contractor to sell it?
Yeah, they had I believe they had a title card up there with the price and
Okay.
everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he pay anything to have your art there?
No, he didn't. And
Mhm.
I think if I ever do that again, I'd prefer some kind of rental fee or something.
That's a good idea. That's
You
right. See,
know,
that's good that we are talking
yeah,
about this because that's just
right.
something you don't think about, right? Okay. Do you have any?
Universities is another one I
Oh,
had.
that's right. That wasn't on my list.
Uh,
You've had a university show.
yeah, I had a solo show at Cran Art Gallery at U of E,
Hmm.
University of Evansville. For those who don't live here, that's what U of E is.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so they have an artist there about every month. I think it's just during the school year, though, the academic year.
Hmm.
And then, of course, they show students' artwork there too, but they usually have a featured artist every month from the community.
Hmm. Right. That was a really nice show.
Oh, it
Did
was.
I know you didn't sell anything during the show, but didn't
Oh, I
you end
did.
up selling a piece after? Oh, you did sell a piece?
I did sell one piece
Okay.
during
Well,
the
that's
show.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I call that a success. If you sell anything during or even after that was related to that show, I can call that a success.
Yeah.
All right. So, have you got anything else that
Let me
for
see. The only other thing I have on here, I think, I don't know if we talked, yeah, we talked about galleries. Hair salons. We've shown in a hair salon
Oh,
before.
yeah.
Or
Forgot
no,
about
actually,
that.
I didn't. Something came up and I didn't do it, but you,
Right.
Jamie and Sandy, I mean, you, Vicky and Sandy did it.
Right, right. We did. And I think Sandy, that was her little cash cow, wasn't it? Her
Hmm.
little honey hole.
I
She
think
sold a
so.
lot of pieces there, and I did not have any luck.
Right.
And sometimes that's just the way it goes, right? You're some places are you're going to appeal to certain people that go to
Oh,
those
yeah.
places. Some you're not. I think Vicky sold one little piece there,
Hmm.
but it was just one of those cases. I don't think that it was right for me. Maybe it was the artwork I took. I don't know. I think Vicky or I think Sandy was the little golden child there. I think some of them knew her, and so they were, happy,
Yeah.
and she had a good spot for it. And it's kind of one of those deals too. You need to make sure that it's known that your artwork is not just part of the decor, that it's for sale.
That it's for sale. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that's important, no matter
Yeah.
where it's at, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
I see something that I forgot to mention on here. Let's go ahead and move on to another one, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Um, so I got this. I can't claim the idea for this. I think I actually got it off that Artist Helping Artists podcast. Remember? With
Hmm.
Leslie Sada that I brought up in another podcast. But home parties, similar to Tupperware.
All
Now,
right.
yeah, so and I
That's a
haven't
great
done this.
idea.
Right. I haven't done this, but I would love the opportunity. So if I have
Oh,
any rich
yeah.
friends listening, so
Yeah.
and they don't even have to be rich, but usually how it would be, you have a host or a hostess, right? And you would provide them with a free small painting, right, as your gift to them for hosting this party, similar to Tupperware party. People come, they have hors d'oeuvres or drinks or whatever, and they invite their friends. It's usually kind of a casual evening in this hostess's home, and it's usually well-to-do hosts, I would think, that are proud of their home and they like to entertain their friends and or even coworkers or whoever they want to invite, right? But I think that would be an awesome way to sell some art. And I've heard from the other podcast that I told you that I got this off of years and years ago, that it was really worked well for her, and that
That's
she had.
great.
But I do think it kind of depends on if you're influential. Do you know that
Yeah.
artist that? Oh, I just love her. She's got the worst mouth on earth. Um, she's from Georgia, I think, and she's in New Orleans now. Oh, I know you know who I'm talking about. She
Uh,
does she does all these wild pop art paintings.
oh
Oh my
gosh, I
God,
can't think of
I can't think of her name right off the bat. Anyway, she started out like that. She came from a
really.
well-to-do family, and she said her mother invited all her debutante, or debutante women friends over, and they all got together and would buy pieces off of her. What is her name? She is wildly successful. Oh, Ashley Longshore. That's her. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't. I'll
You've
have
never
to look
seen
her
her?
up.
Oh
No,
my
I'll have
God.
to look her up. Oh, her artwork looks fantastic.
She's
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
She just doesn't even give a shit about anything. It's so hilarious. Look, there's
Oh, I
somebody
love
unwrapping that.
it.
Oh, yeah. She's awesome.
Oh, yes, I gotta look her up.
Oh, I can't believe you don't follow her.
I
Oh, you
have
got to
to.
follow her.
Oh yeah,
You have to
definitely.
follow her.
And her name
She's
is what again? Ashley
fantastic.
Longshore? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Ashley Longshore.
Did you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Ashley Longshore, she mentioned that too, doing the home parties with her mother's debutante friends. And one more thing that I wanted to talk about, and you can pipe in here because I'm sure you'll have something to say about it, was some of the key things about this. And I've already mentioned some of this, so I'm just going to read my list and we'll keep good records on who has what. Now, I've been bad
Mm-hmm.
about this. I've lost art because I didn't remember where it was. I
Oh
didn't have a
yeah.
good record of it. So make sure that you write down what piece is where. And also, you know, talk about this is really hard for me. And I have written up contracts before, but consider writing up a contract when leaving your art anywhere. And then I write up the contract and then I don't give it to them. Or I feel uncomfortable saying, will you sign my
Oh yeah.
contract? I don't know why. I mean, I bet a man wouldn't feel that way. Sorry, sorry,
Right.
any men. I'm sorry, men, if you're listening, but it's true. Women we're kind of programmed, especially older women, like me. Uh, we are, you know, we were kind of taught to serve, and you know what I'm talking about
Yeah.
without getting into a whole big gender thing. But,
Right.
but
Another
it's
reason. Oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No,
I
go
was
ahead.
just going to say another reason to keep good records of what you have where is simply because if you're looking for a painting that somebody questions you about, maybe they're interested in it and
Right.
you can't find it in your studio, well, then you can go to your records and be like, oh, it's at Inman's or, oh,
Yeah.
it's at the confectionery, or,
Yeah. Yeah, but you can only discover that if you've kept good records. I
Right.
have I have paintings that are still lost. I have no idea where they're at. So don't be like me. Keep good records. And I do
Mhm.
keep good records now. I have a spreadsheet, and in one of my columns is where is it currently at? I also have another column that says where has it been? Like if it's gone to the library, it's gone to a hair salon, it's gone to a coffee shop, blah blah blah. That
Right. A
it goes
record
in
of
there.
where everywhere it's
Yes. Yeah.
exhibited.
Well,
Yeah.
plus I don't want to exhibit the same painting twice somewhere, right?
Oh, yeah. Right.
That's kind of my thing.
I
All
need to
right.
get a
So
little better at that part, keeping a
okay, well
track of
then
that.
make another column in your spreadsheet. You know
Yeah.
you got one. All right, so here's another very important part. Have a clear understanding between you and the owner of how money will be handled. Do they send the collector to you to pay you, or will they collect the money themselves and then you have to get it when you are there to
Mm-hmm.
pick up your paintings, or maybe just going there to pick up your money? So, an example of this is one of the nice little coffee shops sold a piece of mine. And, thankfully, they're honest. And the painting was gone, and they had some cash in an envelope for me. Super nice. Can't get any better than that, right? They didn't tell me until after I picked up my painting. I didn't know it had sold, but maybe it sold very last. I don't know, at the last minute. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure, but definitely have it clear. Like we have to be business people. We can't just live in our little bubble. We have to bring these things up. And that's where it's good in a contract, right? It can be as simple as, having my art is at here from date to this
Oh,
date,
yeah.
and name the pieces, sizes, and how much they are, and have them sign it, and you sign it, and they get a copy and you get a copy. That's as simple as it needs. It doesn't need to be
Right.
anything
It
more than that. And
doesn't.
also, and maybe mention, how the money will be handled. Do you have
Right.
anything to add to the contract thing?
Oh yeah, I'd say just even something simple is good. You don't have to have an attorney look it over probably.
Oh
Just
yeah,
just so everybody's on the same page.
right. And you can even Google contracts. They are out there.
Oh yeah,
They're
there
on
are
they're
sample
on
ones out there
Pinterest.
everywhere that
Yes.
you can grab.
Even if you type in artist contract or artist
Mm-hmm.
exhibit contract, that's I'm sure how I got mine started. Okay, and
Right.
another one I have is know how you'll handle damaged or lost art. And so by that I mean, are you just going to be willing to eat it, or are you need to do your job again as a business owner, your art business owner, as asking the owner, will my art be covered in under your insurance? Like
Mm-hmm.
Jessica made a point
Yeah.
to tell me that the art was covered under their insurance if something were
Oh
to
yeah.
happen to it.
Jessica at
So I
Inman's,
thought,
right?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
I thought that was so nice of her, that took the burden
Right.
off of me to have to ask that.
Oh
But
yeah.
most places I don't think offer that, that I've encountered.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically, you're taking a chance. If something happens or it gets stolen, and that too bad. At least that's what I've encountered in some of the places.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned before, and I think this is so important, this is the last one I have. Pop in no matter where your art is, in a retail shop, a bar, a bookstore, anywhere. Pop in unannounced to check on your work. See if it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
See if it's up. If it's gone, ask where it's at. Did it get sold? Do they owe you money? I think it's really important, and it's up to you, really. It really and truly is up to the artist to know. It's nice for the owner to alert you that something is sold, but you got to figure they're running their own business. They don't have time to call you, maybe, or maybe don't
Yeah.
even have access to your phone number or information easily to get a hold of you. So that's what I have for that on how to get your art out there. Lori, I think this was a really good episode.
I
I
think so
think
too.
hopefully I didn't ramble on too much, but
No, it was
I
all
think
good
we had
information.
I think so too, because a lot of this I wish I'd had in the beginning. I didn't. A
Right.
lot of my information I learned from mistakes that I've made.
Experience.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
trial and error.
My favorite phrase, live and learn.
Yeah.
Right? Live and learn. I've done a lot of
Right.
that.
Oh, yeah, me too. Well, thank you so much for listening today. And if you would like a shout out on our podcast, we'd love to do that for you. All you need to do is leave us a review. And by the way, we'd love a 5-star review. And if you have any show ideas, we'd love to hear them. Just send us an email and we'll have that information in the show notes, how to contact us.